Greetings, humans. At last, this planet has found its way back around to the night of my people. But on this night in particular, you will find the spookiest creation you've ever seen. And it's sitting right here behind me. Many damn souls put in their time to design such a cursed abomination. Seriously, scary movies have nothing on this shit. But enough talk. It's time for you to suffer.
I am not doing that for a full video. Let's get started, shall we? I honestly don't even know where to begin with this. So let's begin our journey from the outside in. The case is an Nvidia X Discovery from around 2006. At the time, this was a rather nice case, at least if you're into piercing blue LED lights. Seriously, I used this case for my main machine for years, and I had to put electrical tape on it to make it tolerable in the bedroom. But that's in the past. Just for this build, I went through the effort of swapping out all the LEDs for green. Why green? Well, it's on the spookier side of colors. It still looks nice. And I had a ton of green LEDs just sitting around. Moving up to the front of the machine, we find a floppy drive, of course, missing the front faceplate, a DVD drive, a multi-card reader, not functional because there's not enough headers for it, a CD drive, not working because it's just dead, and a blanking plate from a completely different and much newer case. Now, we need a CPU. Let's ask the spirits of Halloween for some assistance. Here, let me just light the board of damned hardware. And let's wait for a response. Ah, yes. The cursed path is clear now. When looking for a cursed build, there's no better place to start with than NetBurst. Awful IPC, awful TDP, and a promise from Intel that it will be running at 10 GHz in no time. Why would we be using anything else here? This is a Pentium 4 Northwood S-Spec SL6 S2, rated at 2.53 GHz. And as you can see, it's running along happily at that speed. What, that doesn't say 2.53? Let's just move on to the next part then. To pair with that, we have an MSI 845 Ultra AR motherboard. This thing would have been quite the nice board to have when it was new. Like, come on, it's got 4 IDE channels. What else would you want? Okay, maybe you'd want a USB 2.0 controller, but you would have had to pay up for the Ultra ARU for that. And of course, the Intel 845 chipset can handle anything you throw at it. Oh wait. Sorry, that's more like it. This board uses the first iteration of the 845 chipset. That's basically just the P4 launch day 850 chipset, but with SDR or DDR RAM support just slapped in. That's a story in itself, but I'll leave that for another day. But why is this P4 only running at 1.9 GHz? Yep, that would do it. As for RAM, we have a single 512 meg stick of DDR1 RAM, rated at 400 MHz, but, yeah. Still, 512 meg is good for an early P4 machine, right? And for the hard drive, we have a Maxtor DiamondMax 40GB hard drive that by all accounts should be dead by now, and sure sounds like it wants to be dead, but somehow still seems to be in pretty good shape. So, that wraps up the major components, except for one. We need to see what's in the AGP slot. Place your bets now. And it's nothing. Alright, let's start moving down to the PCI slots. And nope. 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 Feeling nervous yet? Nope. And there we are. Clearly, I didn't go for an ancient piece of trash, though it was very tempting. So what are we actually looking at? This is a GeForce 8400 GS. I can already hear the groans in the crowd. But it gets better. Obviously, this is a PCI version, making use of a PLX bridge chip, allowing it to get slotted into machines way older than itself. It's also a Revision 3 8400 GS, because yes, Nvidia thought it was a good idea to have 3 major versions of this absolute powerhouse. This means, under the heatsink, we are not looking at a G80 relative, or even a G90 relative. In my hand is a GT218 based card, making it basically a relabeled GeForce 205. Not even a 210, but a 205. Given we only have 8 shaders to play with here, this might accidentally be a pretty good fit for the machine. I guess we're just gonna have to find out. Alright, enough talk about components. Let's just start this thing up. Hopefully you can still hear me because, she's kinda loud. As for why it's so loud, it's definitely not because the CPU cooler is a socket AM2 cooler zip tied to the motherboard with a 3-pin case fan taped to that. Who the hell would do that? But even if they did, the temperatures would still be alright. Ish. Who needs mounting pressure anyway? Anyway, by this point, everyone's favorite operating system is starting up. And not only is that Windows Vista, it's Windows Vista Build 6000. That is to say, launch day Vista with absolutely no patches installed whatsoever. So, while that's still starting up, how does it perform? Both better and worse than you may expect. In 3D Mark 2005, it wipes the floor with everything else I've tested, but in actual game tests, not so much. I really have to think that poor Pentium 4 is bottlenecking the hell out of the 8400 GS. In fact, I can prove that. Before I did any of the formal benchmarking, I did a run of UTO4 with max settings and the max resolution with this monitor, that is to say 1600 by 1200. And it actually ran pretty alright. Not 60 FPS by any means, but still more than enough to frag the helpless AI. But a slow CPU is not even the main problem here. It's the storage situation. USB 1.1 makes data transfers obnoxiously slow, and even once data is on the Maxtor hard drive, it's still obnoxiously slow. I really wanted to try Crysis on this for the main, but I'm pretty sure I would die of old age before the game actually loaded. If I were to give this machine a much better hard drive and a USB 2.0 controller, it would be actually a pretty nice old retro system, but that's not really what I was going for here. What I was going for, of course, was to make the strangest, wrongest, most cursed machine I could while making it reasonably functional. I think I accomplished that last bit, and if at any point during this video you found your head in your hands or were screaming at the monitor, I think I accomplished that first part too. But that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching, and
Happy Halloween.
By the way, this is what happens when you decide you don't care about mounting pressure. I tried it, so you don't have to. See you next time.